Hey guys, welcome back to Brian's Train Room. This is volume 2 of the Billboard series where we're going to discuss 1952 to 1956. That coming your way.
This Christmas, ask Dad for the new real-as-life Lionel trains. And remember, boy, you are the boss when you own Lionel trains.
The 1952 Billboards. There was not a lot of action in 1952 when it comes to the billboards. They were the same as the late 1951 version, but with one important update. So as we turn to 1952, they did show the billboards in the back of the catalog in the accessory area. And it says a set of 5 billboard frames for $1.25. This is the Lionel number 310. It shows the billboards accurately of sort of that late 51 change into 52. We'll talk about that in a minute with all of these being shown. And says these 10 full color billboards are free with a set of the 5 frames. So this is how it was shown in the catalog. Let's take a little peek and see what it looked like. In 1952, kids could send in for a Lionel catalog and a set of billboards. When they received it, they also got a very special note from Dan McGee, the Lionel engineer. This particular letter is dated September 18th, 1952, and it reads, "Howdy, Railroader. I am enclosing the 1952 Lionel catalog, hot off the press, as I promised. I am sure you'll have a lot of fun reading through it. There are lots of new train sets, locomotives, and accessories this year. I am also including the new billboard set, which will help you dress up your pike. Best wishes to you for a happy, successful railroading season. Sincerely, Dan McGee, the Lionel engineer." The 1952 set of 10 billboards were as follows. A vote for value in a red Plymouth. Wrigley's spearmint gum for real chewing enjoyment. That woman in a bathing suit peddling Sunsweet Prunes. A kid loving his Heinz oven-baked beans. A cyclomatic Frigidaire with automatic defrosting. Can't have a fancy dinner party without cut-up Baby Ruth candy bars. That duck peddling more anti-freeze. Blue Sunoco high test at regular gas prices. That baby who has yet to see Florida's Silver Springs. And top quality General Tires. These were again fashioned after the real-life billboards found along the highway. Billboards such as Sunsweet Prunes, General Tire, and Wrigley's Spearmint Gum. While the billboards were a repeat of the late 1951 set, it is important to find a set that has the wording about using the outside trim as back braces or to place them in a set of permanent plastic poster panels shown in the 1952 Lionel catalog. This designates the correct billboards offered in 1952. These are the billboards for 1952. The 1953 billboards. 1953 brought changes and updates to the billboards, reducing the number of billboards from 10 to 8. Amazingly, they also offered 2 slightly different versions of the set, with only the Heinz billboard updated. So in researching for the billboards, I was really taking a look at not only just the consumer catalog, but the advanced catalog, just sort of see how things were developing. Let's start off with the advanced catalog, because it does show something a little bit interesting. So we're going to turn to the back pages that are talking about or discuss the billboards. Now, what's really neat about this is, again, 1953 advanced catalog, and it's saying and talking about the set of 5 billboard frames for $1.25. And it says the set of 10 billboards included free. All of the billboards that they're showing were all of the sort of 1952 billboards, which is interesting because they changed them in 1953. So we're going to slip over, push that off to the side, and we're going to go to the consumer catalog for 1953. Now, once you get to the consumer catalog, it more accurately sort of describes what you're going to get. And it shows here at the bottom of the page, it shows all of the billboards that you're going to get. And it says the 310 billboard set. And it shows all the billboards. And it says you get these miniature billboards will liven up your railroad, make it even more realistic. The set includes 5 frames and 8 full color billboards and represents or shows the actual billboards that were available for 1953. So I find it interesting that the advanced catalog says, hey, you're going to get 10 billboards, but when it finally came down to the actual catalog, or the actual consumer catalog, you end up getting the more accurate 8. The 2 sets of 1953 billboards were as follows. No shifting with Plymouth's High Drive. Out of this world, Wrigley's Spearmint Gum. Travel refreshed with a Coke. That boy really loving his Heinz baked beans in the early version. And Red Magic Heinz ketchup on the later version. Years ahead with a cyclomatic Frigidaire. Dupont Anti-freeze and that duck. Sunoco selling tires and batteries. Time to relax at Silver Springs. Kids were able to get billboards of the very products they were seeing on real-life billboards and magazine ads such as Plymouth High Drive, Coca-Cola, Sunoco batteries and tires, and that duck peddling antifreeze. Both sets of 8 came unseparated and are updated with 1953 on the edge border. They were printed by the S&E Printing Company, Inc., New York City. These are the 2 1953 billboards. The 1954 billboards. 1954 was a banner year for Lionel, and the billboards got a pretty solid refresh with a number of new ads, but still only 8 were offered. So again, 1954 was a fantastic year for Lionel and the billboards as well. So let's take a little peek and see how the billboards were sort of mentioned or discussed in 1954. Now what's really interesting about this particular setup is in the accessories, it kind of mentions the 310 billboards and does 2 things. One, similar to some of the earlier years, it actually shows a incredible billboard that they did not make. This particular billboard says, only Lionel has magna traction, more speed, more power, more climb. Love this. Really, really neat. Didn't make that particular one, although if you know where it is, please let me know. But what they didn't show are the other billboards that they would have had in 1954, but they did mention them. Underneath the description of the billboard frames, it says, here are the firms represented. Sun Oil Company, Dupont Anti-freeze, Breck Shampoos, New Departure Bikes, Fram Filters, Campbell Soup, Wrigley's Gum, and Lipton Tea. So these are, and will be shown shortly, the actual billboards. So they knew what they were going to come out with. They just didn't show any pictures in the consumer catalog. Really kind of cool. And again, love this right here. The 8 1954 billboards were as follows. Coolest drink under the sun, Lipton iced tea. Freshen your taste with Wrigley's Spearmint Gum. New departure bikes with safety brake. Campbell's soup is good. Long mileage with Sunoco motor oil. That same old duck with antifreeze. Clean oil with Fram filters. And Breck Shampoo for all types of hair. Again, these were miniature versions of the real-life billboards and advertisements seen by kids. Companies such as Campbell's Soup Kids, Sunoco Motor Oil, and even Breck Shampoos. The set came unseparated with a border updated for 1954. They were printed by S&E Printing Company, New York City. These are the 1954 billboards. The 1955 and 1956 billboards. These 2 years are combined because Lionel reissued the 1955 set of billboards again in 1956. A few new advertisements show up, but the number of billboards reduced again from 8 to 6. Since the billboards were the same for 1955 and 1956, let's take a look at the consumer catalogs and how they're depicted in the catalogs. We're going to start off with 1955. This catalog shows in the very back, in the accessories, it shows the 310 billboard set, which it says, hey, you get the window dressing, set includes 5 sturdy molded frames, and you get some billboards with it. And it shows the actual billboards that they offered for 1955, and that was the snow crop peas, log cabin syrup, Fram filters, Kool-Aid, Dupont Anti-freeze, Wrigley Spearmint Gum. It also shows, just like in 1954, sort of the maybe a mock-up or some sort of billboard that they did not make, which is the Lionel Magnet Traction, more speed, more power, more climb. Now, what's also interesting is this is the first time that the billboards actually showed up in other parts of the catalog. And this is what I mean. So if you sort of start flipping through this catalog, which is kind of one of the more odd catalogs in terms of how it's organized, it's really hard to tell what's in what set, all those things. And you flip to one of the pages, you have a little section here that says, oh, here's a little blurb about the billboards. And sure enough, it shows the actual billboards that they produced, which were for Fram, DuPont, the Snow Peas, Log Cabin, Wrigley's, and Kool-Aid. Now, these aren't exactly how they made them, but these were the companies that were going to be represented. So pretty cool. And that's the 1955 version. In 1956, they kind of stepped that up even another notch. So let's go back to the accessory side, and in the accessory side, same thing. They show the little boy with the magnet traction. Again, they never made this particular billboard, and it says you get 6 posters. And again, they offered the posters or showed the posters in other parts of the catalog. So as you flip through, here they are, where they show some of the trains. And sure enough, in this little top corner, these are the little billboards for Wrigley's, Kool-Aid, and DuPont, and a little bit further later in the catalog, they show for the Fram, Log Cabin, and the Snow Peas. So they're showing these kind of trackside now, which they had never done before 1955. So in 1955 and 1956, they actually showed some of the billboards sort of speckled in to the catalog artwork, which is really kind of neat. The set of 6 1955-1956 billboards were as follows. That duck peddling Dupont Anti-freeze, but for 10 cents more. still freshening your taste with Wrigley's Spearmint Gum. Snowtop peas are mountain grown. Log cabin syrup makes the cakes. Kool-Aid packages makes 2 quarts. And celebrate Clean Oil Month with Fram filters. Again, kids were able to put miniature versions of the very billboards and ads they saw in real life on their layouts, such as snow crop peas, log cabin syrup, Kool-Aid, and Fram filters. The billboards came unseparated in a more lateral format, with the border updated for 1955. I'm unaware and don't believe that there are any with 1956 on the border. They were printed by the S&E Creative Printing Company, New York. These are the 1955 and 1956 billboards. All right, so that pretty much wraps it up for 1952 to 1956 when it comes to the billboards. Just some amazing billboards, and there's still plenty to come. Volume 3 is going to be 1957 through the billboards through the 60s. So looking forward to that. Keep an eye out, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me on Brian's Train Room.
Look at her streak along the rails. It's a Lionel.